the meeting to order and begin with the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On pages 1, 2, and 3 are the, well, first of all, we'll approve the agenda before we move forward. Any additions? I would like to make note that Tammy's not feeling well, but she is here. She's on the line, so if there's a question with regard to quorum, we do have a quorum with regard to her. So, okay, with that. If no comments or additions, or would move to approve the agenda.
Make a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay, the approval of the minutes from the last meeting on May 1st, or found on pages 1 through 3. Looking through them, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Public input. Mike?
Go ahead.
Hello, it's Mike Wordle. I'm the commander of the Post 38 American Legion. An agreement that we did last year in June. Part of that agreement was for snow removal and stockpiling out there on the grounds. And that was with the city of Miller to do that, and we don't have any issues with that. But it came to our attention that there's a lot of private businesses hauling snow out there too. We have no agreements with them at all. And so I didn't know if the city had agreements with them, but from a liability perspective and everything, I wanted to bring this up now. We can put it on the agenda for a future meeting. But I think we're gonna have some research need to be done on this, so I'm not sure what they're doing, but I know a lot of them are probably removing snow for profit and dumping it, free dumping out there at the grounds with no compensation or anything to the Legion. I don't know if the city has an agreement with them or not, so I just wanted to bring it up for the record, I guess, here, and then to get on a future agenda to discuss that before we go into next year's snow season.
Okay.
We're not opposed to them doing it, but we'd like to have some sort of agreement, and since we're trying to raise money to remodel and renovate out there, it may be a work-in-kind effort in the future or something to that extent, but I want to just bring that up to the city for right now.
Do you want it soon on the agenda, or do you want it more towards fall?
Let's go to fall.
Because there's no in-place agreement, correct, with?
Not that I know of.
Not that I've heard.
Okay. Anyhow, I just wanted to bring that. It came to my attention this spring, and it was about the end of I thought it was about the end of the snow removal season. It got extended a little bit longer than that, so
Okay.
thank
All
you.
right, very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Any other public input? Hearing none, we'll move on. We'll have a public hearing at 7:30, so where we are with regard to the information there, we'll have to come back to that with regard to a variance. As far as unfinished business, when I submitted the mayoral appointments, one of the things that I didn't make clear on the form that I handed in, basically who is the chairman, who is vice chairman, and things of this sort. I color-coded and underlined, but in the process of submitting those names, there was some question with regard to where each person was with regard, as far as name with regard to those committees. So on page 4 is the intention that I had. So
Plus, we added the public health
yes,
officer.
yeah, we added the public health officer. You got that? Okay,
Yep.
all right. Anyway, so I would entertain a motion to approve that adjustment with regard to the appointments. The revision, I should say.
I'll make the motion for the revision.
And second,
I'll second.
all in in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay. On, new business, Kim Hire development question. Kim?
All right, so I just wanted to kind of bring to you guys' attention and just ask some questions and kind of see where you guys are sitting at. We, about a year and a half ago, my wife and I had purchased a property from Mike Beener over on North 3rd Avenue, just by the Mormon church there, across from Vista Drive. There was 2 lots there in that area on the west side of 3rd Avenue, and we purchased both of them from Mike. Plan to develop a house there at some point, but in the plat the plat map that we got from him, there is a proposed street, I guess if you want to call it that, Northview Drive, going west off of 3rd Avenue, straight across from Vista Drive, and that street is undeveloped at this point. With our plans to build a home on those properties, I was just bringing that to the city's attention to look into developing that street. So we have full access to our property there once we have a home. So I don't know if that was something that was in the works already, with all the street stuff going on right now around town, if that was budgeted for, or what the situation was, because that was, like I said, a plotted subdivision, but that street was never developed. And obviously we have new members of the city council that maybe wouldn't have ideas of what happened back then at that point. I don't even know when this was developed, but anyway, I don't know what the thoughts or plans are on that.
Well, and I think, and for reference purpose, the information I found in the code book with regard to subdivision 34, and then on basically section 34-29 addresses that, and with regard to that. And I think with regard to the time that you brought this to, the attention, I just, to find additional information. It does specify here, and I'll just read it. The city shall provide at a charge to the developer equal to 10% above the actual cost to the city to the materials and special rented and leased equipment used to assist the development with the actual improvement. And it goes on and talks about some other things. It shall be responsible to the developer to provide engineering design specifications and data to be approved by the common council. Once installed, all utilities shall be the property and the responsibility of the city, and certain required improvements are as follows, and it goes on to some other codified information. So with regard to that.
In that scenario, who is the developer?
And I think that section is regards to utilities,
Yes.
And street.
because you get down to number 3493 talks about
93.
grading.
Well, steep grading, all major
Street grading.
secondary streets and alleys located entirely within the boundary of the subdivision shall be graded in accordance with city requirements.
Doing the maintenance
On
on it.
surfaces, it does talk about surfaces on 3494. Okay,
So when you get into surfacing and grading, it talks about the city responsibility for providing that. Now, again, I don't know what his plans are, Mike, and as far as the properties on that side of the street, if those are platted out for, where this subdivision, how far it expands. Shayla, maybe you have access to the plat maps and everything like that. But I don't know if there's anything west of these lot properties that we bought that are platted out as part of the subdivision for expansion of that.
As far as I know, your 2 lots in that street, that's the extent
Okay.
of that area. And then what Mike's got his garage on.
Yeah. So I don't know what the need for utilities would need to be going
No.
west,
okay,
but I'm just looking for
You're
a
at the
road,
okay, all right.
cause it's just dirt and it's mud in the spring and anytime it's
When are you
wet.
putting your house in there?
We're hoping to start later this summer, fall, later this year,
So sooner rather than.
yes.
34.
So if you look at 3494, that's with
The
regard
garage
to
will
the
face
street.
south,
Right back there.
yes,
Or it does say
the garage will face south, yep.
city on that one. street surface.
On the driveway off such streets and alleys shall be
The
constructed.
driveway would be coming off of this Northview Road.
City, the street, your client shall be, city.
And you've already got water and electricity there?
Not, well, the electricity, it would be on Third Avenue. There's a, transformer there. And there, from talking to Terry Manning in the past, there's a pump station right on that intersection of Third and Northview there. The driveway for the home would be facing south though, towards this Northview Drive. And so to have access to that driveway, that's kind of our biggest concern.
And you said, when were you planning on, Tim, starting? construction?
Later this year,
Later this
end
year.
of the summer, beginning of fall, hopefully.
So,
Have to get it up on the
Yeah.
agenda.
yeah, we'll have to, we could take the request, submit it to Ron, and then put it on the agenda for next meeting.
That's fine.
And we try to have Ron have some answers for us.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's about the only way to go.
Okay, so then I'd entertain a motion to table the request, provide Ron with the information needed, and table the request or additional until our next council meeting. Would that give,
Is what are we deciding whether or not we're putting a street there? Is that,
well,
am I understanding that correctly?
We were just seeing if there's any plans to put a road there or a street
Well,
there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the city's plans were or are, but the way I look at it, there should be.
yeah. And it basically said the subdivider shall submit to the council his plans for connecting to the existing street. The street construction engineering plan shall be by a city-approved engineer at the expense of the city. And all streets and alleys shall be constructed by the city employees at the expense of the city. Okay, so,
And that's, I guess I'm confused about in the exact same section of who's responsible for what, I guess.
Okay.
Under this lingo.
I
okay,
know our ordinances have some problems in this subdivision and
Yeah.
development.
The way I read into it, the utility stuff that you were talking about
Yeah.
previously talked about the subdivider being responsible for it primarily. But then when you talk about the street part of it, that comes back on the city from the looks of it. And that's where I don't know if there's any plans for any future development going west where there'd be need for utilities to run under that street. But I don't know how that works as far as if you're gonna have a street needing utilities under it.
It's plotted, it's got an easement through there for that stuff. So I mean, obviously the easement's in place for the city's utilities. Cause I wanna say we looked at it, so like the water and sewers through the street, but then the electrical easement is all the way at the south end of that big lot along them trees is where the electrical would be.
Did I show this to you, Dustin?
Yeah, and I've already had plans with, talking to Mike and kinda anticipated to hear when you were gonna do your house up, and I got the power figured out, I guess.
The north side of that road is different because that wouldn't necessarily be out of that easement from that way south end. That would be coming out of the ditch, I'm assuming, for that.
Yeah, everything's kinda running
Just these
around
two
here.
lots is all that's really gonna be on the north side ever, cause we own the other lot, the big lot for the drainage basin.
Yeah, so, my stuff's pretty easy.
Okay.
Is that cities, does that come right up until the west side of this lot?
There's a little gap.
Is there a gap in there where Mike has that
There's
still?
just a little bit of a gap where I don't know,
Yeah, I know.
I don't think there's much for,
Yeah, there's like, maybe like
Just
where
a
those
strip
trees
there.
are.
you wouldn't be able to get a house really there.
Let's see.
Maybe a
I'm trying to see
narrow.
what we're looking at. Those are the church's trees.
Mm-hmm.
So
South of that.
we would be south of those trees. That road, see, that road cuts through this lot one. on that road that goes to the north there, it kinda cuts through it. So if you come straight from the road straight west, that's the proposed Northview Drive. That's kinda more just a cow path, basically, or a road that Mike would use to drive through there, but
Is there a-
so I didn't know where I didn't know, once you get to that, basically, once you get to them trees and come south, that's that west side of lot one. And then again, I don't know where the city's property starts when you go west towards that drainage ditch.
Seems like there was another piece.
There's like a dirt pile up there where your mouse is right now, it's just like a mounded dirt grass, something like that up in there.
It's a little more obvious when you go to drive there. You can see there's kind of a path there
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
resembles.
But yeah,
Road.
that dirt road in there that kinda curves north is where it starts, is where that, and you can even see it where the street opens up on Third Avenue there. There's a
Yeah.
cutout in the curb there for a road.
Okay.
So like I said, our biggest concern is just having access to our, what will be where our driveway is to our garage,
Understand.
without having to go through mud.
Okay.
It would be nice to have it in there and have it take in time for trucks or whatever you got. Are you moving a house in or are you still building it?
They're building it on site.
A lot of questions go over. I don't think there's any contention to the road being there, just about who is responsible for what part, I guess,
And
is.
making sure all the specifications are up to what needs to be up to, okay? Alright? So, I'll entertain a motion because I don't think we're in the position to make any decisions tonight to, table this until further, information is gathered and try to do it in a timely manner so we can get, back to Tim with regard to that. I'm not gonna commit to the next meeting, but it'd be nice if we, within the next meeting, we would have, something
Some
in place
answers.
that we can move forward, okay? Right, so we'll do every effort that we can to gather the information and just more or less make us all aware of the, we see the responsibility, just making sure everything is up to specifications and things of that sort. And people will move too much forward with this, okay? Any input? I'd entertain a motion then to table this for further consideration.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you.
And then we will be in contact with you with regard to that.
All right,
All right,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thanks, Tim.
Okay, we still have time for, talk about the Legion and Han County snow goers for the 4th of July.
Right down to the Legion.
Once again, Mike Whirl, I'm commander of Post 38 American Legion. Nathan Van Zee and the snow goers, Kent County snow goers, approached us about hosting their annual side-by-side UTV racing or out there at the Legion grounds over the 4th of July weekend. They decided, I believe, on the 1st of July to hold this there. And we agreed to that, but part of this was notification to the city per the same lease agreement I referred to earlier, that we would give it a minimum of 2 weeks' notice to the city. We will be serving food and alcohol outside of the building and on the grounds out there during this event, so that was the main thing, just to be alerted, and I believe our liquor license does allow us to do that, to be able to serve on the grounds out there, so. It's a county liquor license there, so.
And that's July first?
First, you
July
said, right?
1st. Which is Saturday, yes.
Okay. Do you know how big of a track or anything of what, we can,
You can kind of see that.
It'll be inside the arena.
okay,
Yeah.
oh,
It's always been there.
Yes.
Yep.
There's,
There's 4 telephone poles
Okay.
inside that.
right,
and there'll be fencing and stuff set up on the outside, around it, the outside of it for public safety, so.
good, all right. Very
And
good.
bleachers set up there, I think. I don't know, did we do that last year? No, we didn't do that last year. No, we didn't do that last year either, so.
Okay.
Anyhow,
Very good. Look forward to
Yep.
follow up on that then, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we've about 10 minutes before we're gonna, adjourn and then convene to a board of adjustment, so campers on private property. That is what?
The mic.
We're gonna talk
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, So I've had a lot of people ask me about campers, on private property, and I guess basically to rent out. We hear that these wind farms are gonna bring a lot of people in. And so there's a lot of people that want to set up their campers and basically rent their ground out. Now, we haven't seen anything in writing, says you can or you can't. You kinda need to bring it to you guys' attention so that way maybe we get ahead of this a little bit, or if it's all right, for this year or not all the time, or I don't know. I'm just kinda looking
Okay.
for some,
And I think the only thing it would, is there a zoning issue? Is there something in there that prohibits that, or so we stay in compliance with our ordinance and stuff like that? When you, Dustin, when you do this, are you looking for a certain number of hookups, or will you submit a plan or kind of an overview with regard to the number of campsites that are going to be available, or?
I was actually one of them that was thinking about it at one point. There's a few others that have contacted and asked me. I went around and talked to all my neighbors first. I don't know if that's something that needs to be in place, I'm kind of just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
There's something for everybody to ponder.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is I've always had camper spots on my property, but for me, even at my other house, whatever, it's kind of where I store my camper. But, and as far as zoning, I mean, we haven't seen anything. The only thing I will say is when you buy a house and you rent it out, that's not zoned
True.
commercial. So I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah,
we
but I
can
think
say
that's
yay or nay on any of
permanent
this.
structure is the only difference, I think, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I
just-
haven't found anything either. And then
Just
that,
looking for some, to make it clear and then that everybody's aware, because just rumor, but I hear like south of town at one point, there could be up to 200 people down there working on that site. So, I mean, do we necessarily don't wanna push anybody out, that'd be good, revenue for the businesses and everybody, in town.
okay.
So, if we can get some of them here, just to do it right, so.
My first instinct is, as long as it's a seasonal
Right.
agreement where it doesn't turn into someone abuses where it's a camper lot year round.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's some sites that had mobile homes on them, that they were looking at doing. Yeah, there's just a few of them around. I know people are thinking about it, so.
Okay. Kind of gives us an opportunity to stay ahead of the situation with regard to anything that, make us aware of any concerns or anything of that sort, so. So was there a time frame where you were looking for?
A few people I said I need to bring this to
Yeah.
your guys' attention, so that way we can, it's kinda like the road thing, just, we're gonna have to dig into the book
Yeah.
and decide what,
Do we have
do
anything
those
on
keep-
campers?
Huh?
Do we have us?
The only thing we have on campers is in the camp,
Yep.
in the park.
Well, I found let me figure it out here.
Thank you.
Number 40 zoning, section 40-111. Says in the residential district, building structures and land shall be used only for the following purposes: one family dwelling, parks and recreation areas, or home occupations and accessory uses.
I don't wanna, so like,
I know, right?
yeah, you look at our bed and breakfasts and a few other things that we have,
Well, that was in the residential district. So then you get into the commercial.
but I'm not gonna say who, but there's quite a few around town that, yeah, they're not.
Yeah. Commercial, it
Is that
says,
the case?
Pardon me?
Is that the case currently?
I'm just saying there's a few of them around town, the bed and breakfasts that are, they're not gonna be zoned commercial. But
Yeah,
'Cause
let's
they're
do,
talking one family dwelling,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
just, you guys really need to just take a look at it and
Yeah.
kinda,
we can have a zoning committee meeting, kind of look into that a little bit more.
And there are some exemptions, it says in here as well. Like there's some sections like south 1/2 block 16 Wylands edition, west 1/2 of lot 3 block 4 McWhorter's edition, blocks 3 and 4 Butler's plat. So there are different exceptions which might include those. I don't know exactly, but
so I don't know, is there a committee?
Yes,
that,
yeah, it'd be Dale Hargan, Tammy Lichty, and then Mike will be on there. Mike Lance would be
Okay,
on the
good.
committee.
yeah, we'll dig into
And
it, see
then
if
Yeah.
we
if
figure
you
out.
guys wanna get with me and I can point out some of them lots.
Maybe
that-
take us around and show us what you're talking about.
Yep,
And if you know of anybody else that's maybe interested or,
I'm sure there's gonna be some come forward, maybe now, so.
okay,
Good.
good.
If there, and if there's a need for it, isn't there some way that people could apply to have some campers on there?
Well, like this says, there are exceptions made, special exceptions, you know, so.
So if we had 100 campers come in and we don't have any place for them,
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, you can make an
Residents could
exception
apply.
during the construction or something like that, you know?
I think the city, I think we all sound like we're open to it, and it's
Yes.
not, we're not gonna shut it down.
Well, right, that's a lot of extra business
Yeah.
for everywhere in the city.
Yeah,
I think we're open as a council.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not opposed to it.
no,
Just need to fine tune it.
If I can chime in, I worked in the winter for 10 years, and I traveled the country building, so yeah, you build a site, you basically come in and you.
Spend a lot of money.
You spend a lot of revenue comes into town, and camping spots, you can crash, whole camper in wherever, there's a hookup, so I mean, I think it's good at bringing it to attention, because otherwise you're gonna have campers on the street, campers.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
everywhere.
Parking, so I mean, it can get clustered real quick.
yeah, okay,
Let that special committee kind of work out some basic rules of, we don't want hookups with them parking on the road, but as long as they have a spot to park
Yeah.
a camper that, cause then that would start getting into the vehicles on the street,
Yeah, you wouldn't
Yeah,
want,
no.
wouldn't want them on the
No.
road.
and that probably already has a,
When we're talking about hookups, we mean power, water, and sewer.
well,
I suppose it all depends on what they wanna rent, or what they,
I'm thinking most of them are probably just gonna be power only. Cause there's not very many sewer hookups in town already for campers.
Right.
No, I wouldn't think there'd be very many.
okay, and that would be something that, in your case, you would, kind of decide that anyway, I mean, if it's just power, if it's,
I'm just
and
looking
because it's
for
gonna be the
some
expense of the,
direction,
yeah, okay,
so.
all right. Yes,
The ordinance that is currently in place, I believe, is just through the winter. Can't have campers or trailers and things like that on the street during the winter.
yeah,
So that might need to be adjusted as well.
yeah,
To make sure that they're not like,
yeah,
that's currently.
yeah. Okay, we'll take a look at that as the committee and stuff, so, okay? Right, anything else, Dustin? Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks for
Any
bringing-
questions?
Thanks for bringing it up.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Well, we can do, how much, do I have 1 minute?
Not even.
In a hurry, Joe? No. He's not here. Okay.
We better do
Yes,
the
yes,
7:30 one
yeah,
first.
Yeah, we do, we will.
So we need a motion to adjourn.
Yes, I was just kind of waiting for the 7:30, with 7:30?
7:30.
Okay, I'll make a motion, entertain a motion to adjourn as a common council and convene as the Board of Adjustment.
I'll make
Make
that
the
motion.
Okay, second?
Second.
Second, discussion, we're there and stuff, so. Okay, the request is for Edward Johnson at 310 West 9th Street, Miller, to place a new shed on the property line on west, and the property line is adjacent to the Van Zee property, correct there?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the right property, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Maybe, maybe you want to come up and just explain a little bit with regard to your requests.
Can you turn that mic on too when you step up there, please? Thank you.
It's green.
Is it bright green?
Test. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, I just would like to put up a 10 by 16 shed, basically, kind of underneath this tree on the south side, or the east side of my garage. Basically 4 feet over, 10 foot, and then I'm still 2 feet, I measured tonight, I'm still 2 feet from my sprinklers. So I don't know if that's my property line or not, but, so I don't know exactly where my property line is. The wife bought the house while I was deployed, so.
Okay,
I talked to Van Z's, they're okay with it. So it's gonna be have that 4x8 sheet siding, prime siding, we're gonna paint it, shingled roof, double doors in the front, no windows.
okay.
So I did not go over there to this, on the building permit. I mean, again, unless there's any objection, the thing there is, there definitely needs to be some pins and a survey done. Just to make sure that you're, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Whoever put the sprinkler systems in, I'm still 2 feet in on my property.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's,
Do the Van Z's or anybody are there pins there, do you know of?
I did not, I didn't go over there and look for them because on the thing it says, I think it says you gotta have a survey, and so I was waiting for a survey to be done, I assumed that.
Okay,
that was checked off on
yes.
that building permit.
What's the typical process? Do we get a variance for every?
But if it's on the property, if it's not a certain footage away from the property line.
It's within 6 feet of the.
And then we get a survey done for every variance?
Or you can find, the
Or they can find the pins.
I think it's kinda hard to approve a variance when we don't know where those,
Property line is.
yeah. I think that's
okay.
the first step, is you gotta say where the property line is before we can grant a variance,
Yeah,
but.
and I'm gonna say for me, usually this is gonna be a little tougher for me to do this. If I get in the square part of town and I can, I
Right.
can wheel off back a curve and I can find the center road and I can do right of ways.
Yeah.
But that area right there is gonna be a little tricky for me to.
Well, it's kind of, yeah, it's like a pie, like a wedge.
Will there be
Yeah.
a back pin on the city? Will there be a back pin
But that,
of that
even
lot?
if it is, it's not gonna correlate where the front is.
Yeah, and I apologize. that
But
didn't
if it's
come over
line
here.
of sight between the two pins, would be the line. I don't know how pins work.
So
If they're,
sometimes there's pins around town, sometimes there wasn't. I was assuming that there was gonna be a fresh set of pins on this.
okay.
So I never did make it over there, I apologize, for that, I just was, it was one of the boxes that was checked, so I guess I thought it was kind of part of the process on that.
Okay,
Cause they'll always have, they have jurisdiction over me, I can wheel it, and I've been pretty close, and there's some of them I'd like to argue with them, but they're the ones, not me, so. As far as, the surveyor.
I wonder if you could look at a plat up at the register of deeds of your property, unless you have a copy of it, it might indicate on there if there's pins set for those lots. I would think that's new enough that they should actually have some pins.
Okay.
And
For
if
those
they do, I
lots.
do have a metal detector itself, I guess it's my bad, I apologize, but I was assuming that it was checked on there, I just thought it was kind of a procedure.
Ed, when were you planning on moving that shed in?
I'm building it.
Oh, you're building it,
So
okay.
Right now I got the stringers and the floor joists, just to get an idea as to where it's at.
Where it's gonna sit.
Yep.
And when were you planning on starting with building that?
As soon as I leave here. No, I mean,
Okay.
it's up to
Yeah,
you, whenever it
okay,
gets done, it's
all
not,
right.
it's,
Well, we could,
You could approve it.
We could approve it
I was gonna
pending.
s-
Pending a,
pending a survey, that's what I was thinking,
I think
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
be the best choice.
yeah.
Make the motion that we approve the variance contingent on that the entire structure is still on his property.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose the same. Motion carries. Thank you, Tim. Just for the record, you know, Van Z's were contacted and they did sign off on the approval of it too, so with regard to that. Okay. Without objection, we'll adjourn from the Board of Adjustments and reconvene as the Common Council. Don't think I need a motion for that. Okay. All right, Joe, for the baseball shed at the ballpark?
Tim and I are on the board for the Outlaw Ball Association and the president, and so we've got the one storage shed out there right now that's on the north side of the old batting cage, and we've far outgrown that tiny little 8x10 shed. We've got, last count I had, right at 178 or 79 kids in our 1400 program, and our shed is just packed. We can't get in there and get our equipment out. So Builder Solutions had one of their sheds that they were going to give us pretty good deal on a 10 by 14 shed that we were going to purchase from them pending approval to put it out there. Our plan for right now, if we get approval, is to put it just directly on the north side of that current shed. It'll be on skids, and then this fall after ball season, we would like to pour a pad and put it directly on the north side of the new batting cage, so we can just wheel our pitching machine in and out of there and incorporate it right into the pitching machine, because those things are really heavy. So we're just asking for approval for that. It's a $3,800 shed, and then obviously it would become asset of the cities, you know, once it's out there. We would purchase the shed.
What size was that again?
It's a 10 by 14, I believe. Yep.
Roger likes the position.
Yeah, I've talked to Roger. Dustin knows where it's at. I mean, there's no, where that shed we were gonna put on the north side of that new batting cage. There's no lines or nothing under there.
There is the one going out to the one light, but in the area where the pad on top of it, we couldn't get away from it, so. We have to try to get one later. It's not like it's a primary.
I guess everybody involved is liking the position. What's the relationship with the Legion? We gotta get Legion's approval as well. Do we lease that land from the Legion?
Okay.
So, do we have to get permission from them to put any more structures out there as well, or is it?
It'd be a
It's a good neighbor.
neighbor policy.
With the new agreement you do still?
And previously, because I was on the softball board, I usually had that permission when we were talking about it. Because I'm no longer on the Outlaw Ball Association board, I mean, I was aware of this, but we have not brought it up as far as in our regular meeting, so. Our next meeting will be the second Monday of June.
So can I make the motion
I will
contingent?
say, as long as it's within the confines of the current fenced-in area there and not gonna extend outside of there, I don't see an issue at all with any members there, so, from that perspective, but I can't unilaterally say it's approved without taking it to the Legion.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna do contingent
Yep,
upon Legion
yep.
approval?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd make the motion that we approve it as long as contingent on the Legion
Second.
okays it.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I got something that, I know we talked outside of the, the scoreboards are going into eventually.
Yes, and that was already
That
approved
was-
last year, that was
okay.
approved last year.
And the batting cage.
And the batting cage and all that stuff, because I was on the board at that time, and I took it to the regular Legion meeting, because I knew what was going on there, and I knew we had talked about this, but we hadn't come up with any sizes or anything, so where it was gonna be located.
So since for now it would just be on skids and temporary, could we
You could
put it
come-
out there now and
You
then,
could, yeah,
since
it's not a permanent fixture there, it's mobile portable, so.
we just wanna be able to use it as soon as possible?
always be portable, it'll always be on skids.
Yeah,
But you're gonna put concrete down, though, we need,
eventually, yeah.
if you're gonna put concrete underneath it, then we need to do that.
The approval then.
That's what we would
Even if it's not secured to concrete?
You're concrete becomes the issue.
Yeah.
Because that's a permanent fixture out there.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not portable anymore.
So before we can pour the pad,
Yes.
you gotta
We-
He'll have to go
And I
through
would-
the,
I would say from a temporary perspective, yes, from the skids, I would be good with that, but before a pad goes in out there, and you permanently site it out there, we need to do that. It's more of a formality than anything else, but I wanna keep above board on this, what's going on with the Legion up there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay,
So we'd be okay
And I don't
putting it
know if
out
you
there?
need me to come up here and restate that at the microphone or not.
Yeah, we're just completely maxed on space and
yeah,
we gotta find somewhere so we can get our equipment in and out of our sheds, so.
okay.
Yeah.
So we have a motion on the second with the, and then before any
Contingent upon Legion.
approval, okay? All right, any other discussion? Okay, any, all in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed the same? Motion carries. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Tim.
Okay, on, item 5, on page 5, it talked about the fire hall repairs. And basically, it, replacing the floor in the, bathrooms at the fire hall. And it talked about tearing out old floor and replacing with, 2 new, bathrooms at the fire hall, and so on. Removal of toilet and reinstall, replace 2 toilet seats, and so on, so.
Terry called me and said that it was, it's good, the porcelain tile, it's a good flooring, it's gonna stand up a little better. Right now, it's in just linoleum. And, the difference between a lower grade product and this good product, just because it's such a small area, was only a couple $100, so by going to the good product, should get a lot more years of service out of it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any other questions or anything? Okay, so, with that, I would, entertain a motion to play, Scott Gibson's Construction, a total of $1,945.79, for the work done.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
discussion. All those, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose the same? Motion carries. Okay, on page 6, it talked about the South Dakota Retirement Board position that is up, and that position is for an elected municipal official. And so far, no one has come forward, and I'll just read that. If anybody would like to submit their name, it gives the address to submit it. And if not, they're going to appoint a municipal official to fill that 4-year term position. So probably the question is, any one here feel
Any volunteers?
volunteers? That's what I'm looking for.
Don't all speak at once.
You guys could nominate Dale, he's not here.
There
Right?
you go.
There we go.
Or Sue.
Perfect.
Horses, yeah. You've been in a couple of those meetings that you weren't there, and somebody, you found out what you was coming. Okay. Are they looking from someone from our district, our council, or just any?
Statewide, anybody from
That's
municipal,
what I'm,
executive.
that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so it's something to think about, and if interested, we have that contact information, okay? On item number 7, DANR drinking water compliance, that's on pages 7 and 8. I just want to read this too, and I know there's certificates here. That one goes to the city of Miller, one goes to Terry Manning, and one goes to Brandon Hamill. So without objection, I'd just like to read this. Today, the South Dakota Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources announced that the City of Miller Public Water System and the system certified operators have been awarded a Drinking Water Certificate of Achievement Award. The award is for outstanding water system operation and environmental compliance with the state drinking water standards for the past year. Access to safety and reliable water sources is essential to keeping our family safe and our economy growing, said DANR Secretary Hunter Roberts. This award is a testament to the hard work and dedication of the South Dakota drinking water system operators and their efforts to ensure that their consumers have access to clean drinking water. To qualify for the Drinking Water Certification of Achievement Award, public water systems and their system operators, operation specialists have to meet all the compliance, monitoring, and reporting requirements, drinking water standards, and certification requires for 2022. So with that, I commend Terry and I commend Brandon for, for their work and their effort with regard to this, and congratulate them for the recognition from the DANR. Okay. Any comments or anything? Okay. On page 9, it talked about, well, here, I'll entertain a motion to commend those two individuals for a job well done with regard to the requirements and the achievements of our water system.
Make a motion.
Second?
One second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposes, same? Okay, good. Not that we have to do that, but I just think sometimes it's, and if I forget to do it again, let me know. Okay, budget training, page 9. This is so important. Unfortunately for me, and I read that and I said, I'm going, and then I looked at it and I already have a conference that would, I couldn't go on the 21st, but I might try to see if I'm available on the 28th. But this is just more or less for budget training, and it gives you the information that they're going to cover. And it looks like, I think it's just a one-day, it's just a one-day session. Registration will be at 9:30, and then it has municipal training from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock.
I'd like to attend the June 21st
Do June 21st?
in Pierre.
I'll do the June 28th in Sioux Falls.
And I will get back to you on the 28th. I might go with Mike on that. The 21st, we have a coaches clinic. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, betcha.
Yeah.
Okay, debt, bad debt write-off, and I'll let Shayla.
We just have one, I don't know, I think the past.
I think it's in one of these folders.
Maybe
Okay.
the building permit one.
I think it's in one of the building permits. There you go.
We have a bad debt for $279.91 from a person that is deceased. It has been at Prairie Land Collections over in Huron, and they have written it off their books because there's no estate or anything for them to collect it from.
Okay,
So we would just need a motion to also write it off.
okay.
I'll make a motion, we write off the bad debt per being uncollectible.
Okay. There's a second.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay. Number 10 is the citywide cleanup. As far as discussion, did Ron set a date, or is it?
June 8th and 9th. For citywide cleanup, and Wes Wolf has volunteered to pick up cars. If anybody has old cars, he will pick them up for free those 2 days.
Wow.
First come, first serve. He thinks he can do 10 to possibly 12 cars a day.
Wow.
So if anybody has cars they don't know how to get rid of, whether they have a title or not, he will be happy to take them. free of charge for anybody, so,
That's pretty cool.
Okay, yeah.
very, very nice that he would donate.
So anybody that knows some people that have some junk cars around should get the word out to them and say, hey,
That was a great
Yeah.
time.
great time to get them cleaned up.
Yeah,
And actually, if they do know ahead of time, he will also, anytime he's in town,
Right?
he would like to take some with him. So if somebody has a junk car they know of now and they wanna get rid of it, if he comes to town, he'd like to take it with him, so.
Will he have something to, like a forklift to move the cars, or is that something that?
He does it
I
all the
believe
time,
it's
so.
L&W
It's- yeah.
recovery.
Oh, okay.
LW
He's got
recovers,
everything.
he does it
So,
all the time.
Sweet.
So if it's a car, he can get
What's
it.
that?
It's up by Subway.
Yep, perfect. Thank you.
okay.
Yes, he will be happy to take it. If you don't have a title, there is a form, I have it in the finance office to fill out. Stick it on the dash, we'll need an address and a name, and I'll pick it up.
Well, way to go.
Now, with regard to what will they, is there something they won't, they
Yes.
choose not to pick up?
They can take appliances, furniture, and trees.
They can,
They can.
appliance, furniture,
No electronics,
and trees, no
No
electronics.
cardboard.
no cardboard, no household garbage. So basically, and it's meant mainly for people that, elderly or don't have any way to get it out to the dump themselves, so it's,
Or who want to save $5.
But that weekend, I believe, it's free dump.
That
Is it
weekend's
10
a free
now?
dump,
I think they
8th and
typically-
9th? Okay,
Don't they typically coincide where,
they try to.
That would be perfect if they could.
Sometimes they actually have free dump the weekend before, I don't know what the county's date is, so that people can take it out themselves, but if they don't have any way to get it out there,
and maybe it's not coinciding this year, but I thought that was always a way to battle
yeah.
everybody throwing their stuff
Right.
out, where you can take it out for
If
free.
it's on a trailer, you take it out.
Right?
okay, thank you.
Nice.
All right. On item 11 is the Heartland Community Spark winner. South Dakota Arms was presented that. There was a presentation this, was that a couple weeks ago? Last week? Yeah, on a Monday? Yes. And there was a nice write-up, and basically it's a company recognized the contributions to their community during the National Small Business Week. And it was a nice presentation, nice article written. Press did a great job as far as, covering it too as well. So we want to congratulate them and all their, employees for the, both Clint and Tala for what they do and the businesses they bring to, the business they bring to our community. I'm not gonna sell a sportsman, but a person who gets around a little bit, Dakota Arms is known around the area, and so they bring a lot in from far and wide, so commend them too. Also have a permit here to a removal permit, Dallas Foreman, as far as the house, and I think that has gone around in that. Okay. So if there's no objections to that, I'd entertain a motion to approve that permit.
He did have the sign-offs, right?
Except for water, because Terry will sign it off
When he does it.
when they show that it's been capped.
Okay,
Okay,
So once it gets to the point that it's the sewer and the water have been capped, then Terry will sign.
okay. I
Okay.
thought there was one that wasn't. That's why I
Alright.
was asking.
so I'll entertain a motion with that contingent to approve the permit.
I'll make the motion. We approve that permit per Terry's signature on the water shut off.
Okay.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same, motion carries. Okay, last thing on the agenda is to approve the bills.
As Jim Odegaard would say, I'd make a motion, we pay the bills.
Second,
I'll second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same, motion carries. Okay. Having no further business before the common council, I would move to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Tammy, you get better.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, okay.
Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you guys.
7:55.
Yep, thank you. Okay,
Thanks for giving us that.
now,
Didn't come really in handy tonight, didn't they, having them in front of us?
It's nice to have them all here, but
I should just leave mine here, but I should leave it.
okay, so when,
Did you ever get one?
Dale gets back, then,
You didn't get one?
I don't know.
What does that one say?
That's Tammy's.
Yes, Tammy's.
Mine says,
You know why you didn't get one is because who was sitting in that seat?
me,
Did
this,
you bring one from your house?
I brought one from my house, but that needs to be updated.
This one has Swartz on it, so this would have been,
that'd be Ward one.
So that's supposed to be Dale's.
no, that'd be Will's.
No, that'd be Will's, that's the
This
other
is,
Ward
this
one.
is, this is Will's.
Yes.
Thanks for the reminder.
Well, there's one back here, is that,
That's